You're listening to the Evolving Truths podcast, featuring mother-daughter hosts Shannon and Alexus Ray, where honest and vulnerable conversations about personal growth create a connection between all of us. You're invited to experience the transformation that occurs when we allow the truth of who we are to evolve.
Hello, you beautiful heart and soul. Welcome back to the Evolving Truths podcast. My name is Alexus Ray, and with me, as always, is my mama, Shannon Day. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Lex.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. Yeah, I got up this morning. I mean, obviously, otherwise we would not be chatting, but I did not get up as early as I would have liked. Lately, that seems to be a theme for me. But when I thought, and my plan was to go to the gym, get home, do some work before you and I connected. So then I really had to sit there and think through, well, now if I go to the gym, I'm going to have to do less than I planned. I could do the gym later. Shannon, are you really going to go later? Like, it was this whole conversation with myself. And I was like, just go to the gym, do that, find this later. So then I was thinking, I used to have my echo. I have to say it quiet so he doesn't hear and know I'm talking about him. I used to have it in the morning when the alarm went off. Then I would have it do like a reminder that said, what do you want your day to look like? And I feel like I need to implement that again. And this morning, as I thought about that, I also thought, not only do I need it first thing in the morning when I'm making the decision of, am I going to hit snooze, or am I going to get out of bed, or how many times am I going to hit snooze? I actually need it as much the night before, because then, right, like if I'm doing something and I start to think, what do I want tomorrow to look like? Get yourself to bed a little sooner. Or when you get into bed and say, I'm going to spend 10 minutes or 15 minutes on my phone. And next thing you know, it's an hour or an hour and a half, right? And now you're going to sleep at 12:30 when you plan to get up at 5. So those are all the thoughts. Welcome to my world this morning. That's where I'm at.
Oh, well, it's so real. Like, I just resonate with all of that, and I'm sure anyone listening probably could too. And I really appreciate the point that you're making about asking that question the night before. Like, what intention do I want to have for my day tomorrow? What type of energy do I want to wake up with? What kind of focus do I want to have? I love that. And these things that you're talking about are practices that I used to be super solid in. I feel like I've gotten away from them through migraine and through this change in careers that I'm going through. So I'm really resonating with what you're saying there, Mom.
Yeah, life, just life. Also, Lexus, I would love to hear, in addition to that, how you are doing. And full disclosure, as you're sharing it with me, I'm going to disappear for a minute because I need to plug my computer in. Otherwise, it's going to go bye-bye. So tell me how you are this morning.
Just another talk on how the morning's going. I am doing well this morning. I've, for the last few weeks, pretty consistently been waking up like an hour earlier than I had been. And not that I'm getting out of bed right away, but at least, my body doesn't feel like it's so early anymore to be waking up early. The reason I say that is because it was a nice low-key morning. I am grateful. Like, today is May 1st that we're recording this episode.
Oh, can you even believe that? That is crazy to me. We are in the 5th month of 2024.
Yeah,
Nuts.
I have so many feelings and emotions about it. Time is going by so fast. I also feel like this year has just been challenging. Like 2022, 2023, I had health challenges. 2023, I also, had job challenges and trying to figure out how can I work and maintain my health and get my symptoms under control. And from what I've experienced in 2024, like, the challenge has not slowed down. Like, they've changed, they've shifted. And I also just think energetically, like, around the world, I feel that it's hard for a lot of people right now. And normally, like, my natural state is optimistic and excited and being able to, see the positive and believe that everything's going to work out. And I want to start May with that intention. Like, these are my last 30 days in this apartment. This is my first apartment in Arizona that has so many feelings and emotions tied to it. This is a new month, new sales, new opportunity to talk to more people, hit some different goals this month, continue to stay connected. So all in all, I guess to give you a recap of my morning, it was a pretty typical morning routine. I read, I put some thoughts down on my journal, and then I got ready to see you. And this is how I get to start my day. And I am so grateful to be here with you.
Well, I am grateful to be here with you as well. Also, I just see you're like, is that your knee sticking up with those pants? I love those. No, I want to see them. It looks very cute. I like the pattern. They also look so comfy. This morning I was trying to decide what to wear, and I was like, I have got to get me some comfier pants. I
Yeah.
don't know what that looks like yet, but I am working on it. So I'm a little jelly of yours. Full disclosure, I am wearing my most comfy and favorite sweats though.
Well, I, wanted to get dressed for success today. So I'm wearing one of my pattern, I call them business pants. Like, I mean, I wear them to business meetings and outings for sure, but it's comfortable. And when you look good, right? You feel good.
What they say.
Yes.
I will say my sweats are my business pants also, but I think we're on a little bit different levels here, Lex.
That's funny.
So I don't know, in these few minutes that we're here together this morning, I think we kind of started with just chatting about being in this space. I feel like energetically throughout the world right now, there is a lot. And we also sometimes face things when like things just aren't quite going how it is that we'd like them to go. How do we adjust in that space? What do we do? Like, you spoke to it starting this month, and the acknowledgement of, which I don't know, maybe you didn't expect it, or maybe you did, but like realizing, man, this is my last month in the first place that I called home in Arizona, and what feelings that might bring up for you. But also being very intentional about, this is a brand new month. Yes, I have changes coming. How do I want to face it? And I don't think that's something that just you and I deal with. I'm sure many in the Evolving Truths community face that as well.
Mama, that is such a good point and just call out, because I did know that I would have feelings giving up this apartment. I also know that this kind of transition summer that I'm planning on having feels scary, and I'm excited and I'm nervous, and I'm just leaning into the unknown as much as I possibly can. So it's a little bit of that combination of like, okay, I'm closing this chapter, which we talk about chapters and seasons, all the time. I'm closing this chapter. I know that I'm going to be starting a new one, and having the perspective that it can go well, that it can be great, that everything that is supposed to happen will happen, that's meant to happen will happen. And it's just that kind of blind faith, or like living on a prayer feeling of, I'm pointing myself in this direction, I'm going to keep moving that way, and that's really all I can do. I don't know, did that like, I really hear what you're saying, and I want to make sure that as we think about it and talk about it, I'm staying on point. Also, I know me saying, blind faith and living on a prayer is so funny because of all the topics that we've covered this
Did you
season.
see the smile on my face when you said it? What do you think went through my head when you said it?
I'm not actually sure. Were you trying to stay open, or were you just laughing at the irony of it?
Well, I wasn't laughing. One, I just got a smile on my face. And in my head, anytime those things come up, my initial response, and I feel like now natural reaction is, in my head, I go, #blessed. So that's what was going on in my head. Yeah, I think it comes to that space of, it makes sense to plan. We have to. right? It makes sense to think about, like, how are we going to have income? What are we going to do that? When we do have income, what do we need to do with the income that we have? What choices do we make with that? Where are we going to, like, we have to think about all these things. We set goals and we make plans professionally, personally, and in our personal life, they can be relationship, health, like whatever it is. And in the end, like, that's necessary, that like kind of planning and preparedness. And when we have that and things don't go quite as planned, or it's not feeling like it's moving necessarily in the direction we want it to or at the pace we want it to, being able to still just stop for a moment. You say it all the time, the power in the pause, right? And just go, okay, where am I at? What feelings do I have? Like, again, I love that you're acknowledging this feeling about that space. And then now what do I do with it?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And I think also just expressing gratitude maybe for where you are in that space. Someone that I follow on Instagram, I really like her, intimacy coach, but she talks a lot also about like relationship and other things. And she was giving an example of the other day with her wife. They were driving to pick up her son from his dad, and they ended up stuck like on the highway because there was a bad accident for like 4 hours, somewhere with not much reception on their phones. Like they could play a few games, could listen to some tunes, but were literally just sitting there. The picture of it, what they were surrounded with, was really pretty. And she says, like, I started to lose it. And then she goes, and then her wife started to be like, man, I'm so grateful you put those snacks in the car. Like, look at this yummy stuff that we get to eat. I'm so grateful that we get to sit here with one another and just have this. And it, like, she just started listing all these things she was grateful for in a spot that typically would be like probably pretty shitty, right? And not much fun. And it definitely wasn't the plan, because she started already thinking, now we're not going to get him till this time. We're not get, like, all these things. And it just took that little bit of reframe. And yeah, what we're in right now might kind of suck, but what can we still find to be grateful for in this space, and how powerful that can be?
And expressing that gratitude is literally what can keep us going. Like when we're focusing on that, when we're focusing on the things that are already enriching our lives, we start to feel like we have abundance in us, and we start to feel that I would call it positive energy. We start to feel that good life energy flowing through us because we're seeing the good in all that's happening. And that can then start to, have a domino effect. It really expands inside of us. And I am so grateful that you bring up that point, because the other thing I was really thinking about in addition to gratitude is just compassion. To me, gratitude feels like the mental aspect of, okay, I'm about to go through these changes, or things are hard right now, or I don't know what's going to happen on the other side of this. What can I stay grateful for? What can I focus on that is true and beautiful in my life right now? And we have to take action. Like, no matter how overwhelmed I am and don't feel like I have the capacity to plan this move the way that I would have in the past, because this is not my first rodeo, right? Like, I've moved several times in my life, and I know what it's like to set up your new mail address. I know what it's like to turn off transfer your utilities or your internet, like all of these things that normally I can just work down a checklist of like, yep, got that done. I'm ready to rock and roll. I literally just don't. Like, I am so, I don't want to say I'm stuck, but I'm working through this overwhelm. Like, I am working through a lot on my plate, and it's hilarious that my word for this year is simplify because I'm trying so hard to stick to that. But where I'm going with this is the reminder that not everything is going to get done at once. It doesn't all need to happen in one day. And whatever we do get done is enough. And whatever's not done yet will still be there. We've talked about this before, but that compassion for, man, I'm really grateful for everything that I was able to do today, or what I am getting to have opportunities for. and focusing on that, that's that gratitude piece, and letting go the guilt or the resentment or the thoughts like, oh, I'm so mad at myself for not doing more yesterday, or I'm so mad at myself for, scrolling on my phone for a couple of hours. I also last night stayed up until I think it was like 11, which is way past my bedtime. Like I'm normally asleep sometime between 9:15 and 9:45 consistently. I stayed up watching The Circle on Netflix. I love that show so much, and I wanted to get caught up, and it's just fun and mindless. And now this morning, waking up, it wasn't terrible, but I also know like, okay, I consciously made that decision. I'm not going to beat myself up about it, but tonight I will go to bed early.
Yeah. Yeah. Like how when we started and I said, thinking the night before of what do I want my day to look like, right? Like being able to end your day with that and start your day with that. And to that, we've probably talked about this, and we have someone in our accountability group who, and I think you do it too, Lexus, like starts your day with like a journal or writing down some things to be grateful for. And so however it is that might fit into someone's life could be a good thing to do. And all the while, I think still recognizing and being okay with, there are those times when shit is just hard. We need to sit in it for a minute and acknowledge it. We are certainly never saying not to do that, right? Acknowledge all those feelings that come. Then that compassion for ourselves that we often are more willing to give to other people than we are us. I know that's something that I continuously work on. And years ago, while going through my separation and divorce, like that was something I really, really had to work on. And I think it's something that I've grown into. I do feel like it needs to continue to be a practice, right? It's something that you have to come back to when you find those times that you're not. And then just being really mindful about the intentions that you set to move forward.
Compassion absolutely is a practice. And with what you're saying, I think to drive this point home, no matter what we do, there's no right or wrong or bad or good. There's just the actions that we take, which then create the results in our life that we're looking for. And the thoughts generate the feelings translate to the actions, create the results. So if we're thinking to ourselves, oh, this is so bad that I did it, we can just flip that coin and say, or give yourself permission, like, okay, that's clearly what I needed in that moment. Does that align with who and what type of outcome or person I'm trying to be or create in my life? No? Okay, then what am I going to do different now? Mm-hmm. And letting go of that internal resentment can be part of getting us into action. And that all starts with being able to be nice to ourselves, like legitimately being able to be nice to ourselves. So, Mom, I would love to know, what is your intention for today? What do you want your day to be like?
My intention for today. One, as we were talking, I find myself often talking about moving forward and doing things that move us in that direction. And my word of 2023 was forward. That obviously has stayed with me. I really liked it. And in my head, I was thinking about my word for 24 has been energy. And I've wanted to draw from that word and think about, is this giving me energy? It's just really not sitting. And I'm like, I'm in the second month of the second quarter. I need to reevaluate my words. So I might put that on my list for today. But my intention for today really is just I have my to-do list that I made last night because I feel like I have so many things with work, and just kind of block some things throughout the day and go through the day. I think also really mindful about the actions that I'm taking is what I'm going to do today. I am meeting a friend around lunchtime for a walk, so looking forward to that. I haven't seen her in a hot minute, so that'll be nice. How about you?
Ooh, my intention for today, instinctually, I'm like, I'm just holding on. Like that's like the first answer that I feel like is coming up for me. And I know that that's not coming from compassion or grace or gratitude. So my intention for today is to just really honestly try and stay present, because if I'm in the moment, I'm here right now on this call with you, I'm not thinking about all of the other things I need to do. And that's going to allow me to be able to show up in each meeting I have today, each call that I have today, in the most authentic way that I possibly can. And just know that everything else that's on my list on the whiteboard, that's, going through the to-do list, is going to get there. And as I'm working on each one of those things today, or in the meetings, by staying present, that's going to allow me to just show up and be there. Like, I think that's really all I can keep doing, because it doesn't do me any good to think about everything else when I'm literally in the middle of something.
Yeah. I was just thinking that is really the best way for us to use our time, right? If we have to be in that space anyway, I say have to, like if it's a work meeting, if it's something we've set up personally, it's a decision we've made, if I have this to do, we've got to be there anyway. Why not be there mindfully, intentionally, and in that space? So I love that you just brought that. I'm going to keep that with me throughout today as well. What do you think, Fam Bam? How are you feeling about this conversation? Are you feeling some of this energy we've talked about and overwhelm? And if you are, how are you getting through it? And what is your day going to look like?
If Mom and I are totally your cup of tea, please leave a 5-star rating and awesome review of the show on whatever platform you're listening. Follow, subscribe, like, so that you never miss an episode, and share this episode with someone that you would
love to conversate with.
And until next time, we will be back next week. So please remember,
life is beautiful and you create the magic.
Connect with Shannon and Alexus in the Evolving Truths community by visiting evolvingtruthspodcast.com. Links are in the show notes. The Evolving Truths podcast is produced by Shannon Day and Alexus Ray, recorded from the Corner Studio in conjunction with Alexus Ray Enterprises, LLC.